Ladies and gentlemen, it's customary when we gather here at our Warfare retreats for us to honor those who are not with us and to remember them. And we do it in a very simple fashion. We ask for those of you who stand around here and who have had a chance to hold hands and talk and walk this earth with those people to share your remembrances with us. This started as a part, when something gets going here with this Warfare group, it becomes traditional that we do it always. Paul, KA6PDR, Paul's very round. There's a Lakota Indian who used to be out here with us. And Paul had lots of little things that he liked to do, including toke on that little funny smelling cigarette. And he would get to feeling pretty good about his days in the war. He lost a leg. And he'd start remembering and talking about the gray ghost and some people he served with surreptitiously in different parts of the world. And he always wanted us to do a ceremony in camp to remember his brothers who were not here. One year we raised a helium balloon. Kind of lost it, but we did various things. And we finally said, Paul said, let's just let their smoke rise to the heavens. And that's what we started to do. We lit a candle, and we'll ask you people who are standing around over there to come and pick a name. We'll pick some, and then when you pick that name, we'll ask you to take that and light and burn that here on this candle that's in this bowl. We'll light the candle of friendship, the candle of remembrance for Warfare members and amateur radio members that we know now deceased since our last get-together in the fall of 2009. So on this day, 22 May 2010, our official honors program for those who passed the Great Divide begins. The first name I will read, and I had a basket here that disappeared. I wanted to put the rest of the names in so you could just reach and pull a name out when they ask you to come out. But I'll start with one because Bill is already up here, and it's someone that I know he knows quite well. And I can pull the right one here without too much time. Not PNC, not LaPointe, Win, it'll always be the last one. SFG, and it is Don Johnson. Don Johnson, many of you may know that name because he invented an antenna that you can look around you and see on a lot of these vehicles now. And he gave it to the amateur service free. He didn't sell it, he didn't try to make a profit out of it. And so his name is well known in antenna circles and other amateur radio circles. And there are things that Bill can tell us about him, and perhaps some of you will also. We honor his name, we honor his the memory of the things he did in the way of pushing our art up and onward, and we honor the things he did in terms of his fellowship and reaching out to individuals. So with that, I'll ask Bill to rise and move over to the, and the reason we have the seat sitting here, is sit here if you will, there's a seat right here by you, there you go. And I am going to ask you, Bill, if you will, to light this candle in Don's name. We're going to do it with you standing right there, with you sitting there. Would you hold this paper here? The name on there, and I'm reading it for him, is Don Johnson, hold it open, and his call, what was his call, Bill? WA6AAQ. We are pulling now Don Johnson, and if you will light, we have lit the candle of friendship in memory of Don Johnson. If you let your hand go straight down and let his smoke rise to the heavens and let it fall where it is. And you're on, Bill.
Don Johnson, WA6AAQ, he invented the screwdriver antenna, but there was also some other weird antennas that he experimented with. For example, he built a complete antenna system, an HF antenna system, in the spoiler of a car, the back spoiler. He also made all sorts of things. He actually tried to put one into a bumper of a car. So he was always experimenting. But there was one thing that if you walked into his machine shop, there was not a speck of dust on his garage floor. I mean, if you walked in, he swept after you. That's basically how clean he was. They had a beautiful home, he and Norma, I believe it, or Helen, in Spargo, California. And the home had a little brick wire fence around it and so forth, and you went into the back there to his garage, and he had the antennas, the DK3s and so forth and so on, just stacked up everywhere. And he would say, no, that one doesn't work, I got to work on this one, yada, 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 like that. He was just a busy man. His downfall was that they built a hornet's nest. The hornets built a hornet's nest and came through the sheetrock in the living room of the home and basically attacked you. And he basically had anaphylactic shock, and then of course he went to a nursing home, of which he died in the nursing home. Don will always be remembered because one person who is here at the retreat, KC6MCI, has kind of carried on his tradition of the antenna. There's also another individual too that the three of them went together, so to speak, and that was Homer, and I don't remember Homer's name. Homer's called.
KB6EJ.
Thank you, KB6EJ. And boy, I'll tell you something, those were the three of them together was something else. And he always had his wife with him. And I thought that it was so great that, you know, they did it as a family affair. Don basically did pass away very peacefully. And for the amateur radio community, he made a couple of CDs and things of this nature and helped with a lot of antenna books, people who were writing them. So we owe a debt of gratitude to Don Johnson, W6AAQ.
Thank you so much, Bill. Anyone else wishing to put on record your reflections of Don Johnson, deceased, SK? Okay, Bill, I'll ask you to pull for the next person. I don't have the basket here, but these are just pull one, either one you want, and we'll take them in whatever order they come for. You gonna read it for us?
No.
This is for a lady who just passed, and one of our members, Rocco, in Zero ROC, and someone else can tell this story much better than I, but we just got the news that his wife passed away, and I'm sure that right now he's feeling a lot of pain, and we want him to know that our love is there, and we comfort him in every way that we can, and that we're available in any way that we can be. So at this time, would you come forward, Norm? Norm is from Carson, California, where Rocco hails from also, and he can of course give us the rest of the story. If you'd like to sit down, relax, and reflect, and the candle is lit there for you to submit his name and his smoke to the heavens.
Okay, Rocco, K0ROC, and his wife took off a few weeks ago to the graduation of their daughter from the university up in Indiana. And Gwen got sick and they were put in the hospital. And she went a few days, 9 or 10 days without eating anything, and the doctor told her that if she don't eat, you know, she might not be around too long. So she decided to start eating, and the doctor did an operation 3 days ago. I got a call yesterday morning, says that he was talking to her at her bedside, and she got quiet for about 20 seconds. She was gone just like that. Gwen has been here before. I think one time, I don't think anybody might remember seeing her when she came. But Rocco is really, really having a hard time. So if you hear him on the air, K0ROC, Carson, Mighty Canal, give him a shout. Give him some comfort. He really needs it.
It's okay to say I love you, man.
We love you, man.
And your wife. Still there?
Yeah, we love you, man, and your wife, and we'll miss her for sure.
Anyone else knew Gwen or Rocco? Wish you could make a comment before we move on. I will ask, is Don here, KAT? No, Don's not here. The next name we'd like to acknowledge and to honor was with us for many years, and he took ill a few years ago and finally sold his motorhome and all, and that's Larry Wolstein. Larry, K6DNC, you guys called him National Democratic, the Democratic National DNC anyway. And we'd like to at this time honor Larry. And Don, would you do the honors of providing Don's name and Don's memory as you see them, and sacrificing the ashes from this in his name, in his memory at this time. This is Don, W6KAT. He's been around with the Walker crew for a while.
This is Larry.
Larry, did I say Don? Sorry, you're Don. He's Larry. Sorry about that.
Larry was a really nice guy. The only problem is, I met him over the radio, of course, for quite a long time, talked to him, and it became apparent that he was a Democrat and I was a Republican. So we kind of had some interesting discussions, but I went to see him and his wife and his daughter at Lake Isabella, and they were just the nicest people and friendly, and went for a walk on his property. And he had 2 ham radio stations at his home, one in a radio room and the other along his bedside. And he said he never knew which one he liked better. But he was a very, very nice guy, and I was shocked when I heard about him becoming a silent key. So we just like this here, is that the idea?
Memory of N6 Delta November Charlie.
Yep.